In this video, I'll be giving you my impressions of the ASICS GEL Nimbus 27, in particular comparing it to the previous model, the Nimbus 26. Now in the new ones, I've done 250 Ks in this, which I feel is enough to get to know the shoe pretty well. But before we get into specifics, I think context is really important in shoe reviews. So here's a little bit about me as a runner. You can pause it there if you need to. Now, something to bear in mind is that I bought both of these shoes to be used as an easy run and recovery run shoe. So that's just something to bear in mind. So let's get right into it, starting with the outsole. I'm not going to give a whole bunch of stats and figures on these shoes because I don't really care. I'm just going to give you my impressions. So I don't know if the material's different, but the design of the outsole is certainly different. So this is the 26, this is the 27. You can see it's a different pattern. I suspect that the material is a bit different because I find the grip to be better in the 27s than the 26. I'm hoping though that it doesn't compromise on durability, because this would be a great point to mention that these 26s, I've done 1,200 Ks in this shoe. So the durability is just awesome. And I feel that there's still life left in them. So really impressed with the durability of the outsole in the 26s. Hopefully, it's the same case for the 27s. I'm not seeing many signs of wear after 250 Ks. It looks pretty good still. The only thing I've noticed is visually it's a different pattern, and I think the grip is a little better on the 27s. So moving on to fit, I find the fit really good in the 27s. I found it really good in the 26s, but probably even better the 27s. They just feel really nice. The lockdown's really good. I think the upper material is slightly different in the 27s. Both of them have a gusseted tongue and it's quite elasticy, like it feels really good. I don't know how they've done it, but this shoe just feels great to put on. Now, in terms of the fit itself, I think I might be a bit of an outlier. When I bought the 26s, I bought my usual size, which is a US 12, and actually sent it back because it just seemed enormous. Now, I've got quite wide feet. All my other shoes are a US 12, but with these ones, I found an 11.5 wide gave me the best fit. So I don't know if that's just me being a freak or, you know, if that's going to apply for everyone. But for me, I went half a size down and got the wide version. Your mileage may vary. But to put it on, it feels really good. The lockdown is fantastic. Very comfortable shoe. It is quite hot. I've been training through the summer. I'm here in Australia, so that was definitely something to notice. Although it may be in my mind, but I feel that the 27s is a little better in the heat. Again, I don't know if the upper's a different material, but it might be, because I think it felt a little bit cooler in the 27s compared to the 26. The weight of both of these shoes is really similar. ASICS advertise that they're pretty much the same weight, but I found the 27s to be 9 grams heavier than the 26s. So my 26s came in at 331 grams, the 27s 340. I don't know if that difference is accounted for just in wear on the outsole. Who knows, but that's just something to bear in mind. My 27s were slightly heavier, but nothing you can notice. The stack height in the 27s is one of the main things that's different. So it's 42.5 mil in the 27s versus I think it's around 40 in the 26s. I initially thought that they were going to feel exactly the same, but they do actually feel quite different in many ways. So I feel I can actually notice that increased stack height. But where I really feel the difference in both walking and running in them is the stability. I find the 27s to be much more stable, and I think it's because of the heel. If you look at the heel on the 26s versus 27s, you can see the 26s have got a much wider heel compared to the 27s. Now, one big thing I noticed is that it feels much nicer to run on a treadmill in the 27s, for me in my running style. I'm a heel striker and I really noticed that difference. For me, the 27s feel more stable. They just feel nicer to run in, particularly on the treadmill for some reason. I don't know if that's normal or not, but yeah, so I noticed the heel being smaller in the 27s, and not in a negative way, not in a way where I feel I'm not getting support or cushioning back there. It's still very cushioned, but it just felt more stable and more comfortable to run in. Another thing I noticed is the 27s, they feel more stiff than the 26s, both to bend like this and also to run in. So one thing, again, I was kind of expecting this shoe to be pretty much identical to the 26s, but they really do feel quite different. Initially, the biggest thing I noticed was that the 27s didn't seem to be as cushioned. Even though they've got a bigger stack height, they're still very cushioned. The 27s just feel stiffer to run in. Now, these did kind of soften up a bit as I put some Ks in there. So initially, I really noticed, I thought, wow, this isn't a max cushion shoe anymore. But it definitely softened up and opened up as I ran in it. But even now, it still feels like, to me, the 26s are a little bit more cushioned. They just feel like they look after my feet a little bit better than the 27s. So much so that for my second runs of the day, I often still reach for these 26s because the difference is noticeable enough that I can actually feel more of a shock going through the soleus, and I can just feel more impact in the 27s versus the 26s. And again, that might just be me, but this is my impression. But what that does mean is I feel it makes the 27s a little bit more of a versatile shoe. So I mentioned at the start of the video that I bought both of these shoes for one reason, and that's to use on recovery runs and easy runs. I never want to pick it up and do anything speedy in this, but I feel the 27s are slightly more versatile for those reasons. There's better stability, there's less kind of chunkiness around the heel, they're a little bit stiffer, and they just feel a little bit more responsive to me. So if you're after a shoe that does a little bit more than just running really slowly, then I reckon the 27s are going to be a better bet for you. So would I recommend the ASICS GEL Nimbus 27s? Absolutely. I think it's a great shoe. And one thing I always appreciate about ASICS shoes is just the level of quality. Like as soon as you take it out the box, you know that this is a premium product. And well, you know for two reasons. You've paid a lot of money for it. They're not cheap. But it just feels really nice. There's no signs of anything dodgy going on in the finish. They just always do a really good job of putting a premium shoe forward. I would recommend this shoe, but me personally, and for what I bought the shoe for, that's easy runs and recovery runs, I actually prefer the 26s because I found these just to be overall softer and a bit more like a Rolls Royce of a ride, whereas these ones, a bit firmer, a bit more responsive, are capable of doing a little bit more. Like I did some strides in these and it feels a lot better than doing it in the 26s. I feel it's a bit more of a versatile shoe compared to the 26s. But again, because I exclusively use this shoe for easy runs and recovery runs, I prefer the 26s. And especially as you can get some absolutely banging deals on this one now, I reckon go for the 26s. This shoe has impressed me in every way, particularly in the durability. As I said, 1,200 Ks on this, still going strong, fantastic shoe. I don't think you can go wrong with any of them unless you're buying this to do some speed work in which case you should probably look elsewhere. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.